as you guys can see, everything is 100% flush. What is going on, guys? It's Toby here, and today we're going to be installing a glow shift boost gauge into my 8-pillar gauge holder. So as you guys recall, and we recently covered this within a vlog, I installed an AFR gauge. So that's my air to fuel ratio gauge, and then I have an empty vent pod right there. And then when I get the Whipple, we'll run the vacuum lines through the firewall. So for now, it's kind of like for cosmetic purposes, and then when we make boost, it's gonna be helpful for tuning purposes. Sully is looking absolutely insane. I just got the hood wrap from Ravuni Car Wrap, so we're gonna be doing that very soon, and also the trunk lid. But we're gonna focus on installing this glow shift gauge right now. So as you can see, it has up to like 7 different color sequences. We're gonna be running power, or basically drawing power for the boost through the AFR harnesses. So we'll be splicing into these in order to run power to the boost gauge. I have it right here. But as you can see, we have the gauge right here for boost. This is gonna drop in. Let's see if you need to add anything. No, so it's perfect. So this is a 52mm gauge, just like the AFR one. I'm also gonna go ahead and do an oil change in this video, but that metal bracket you see right there is the holder for the actual boost gauge. So that's awesome. If you screw that on, and I'm pretty sure the kit comes with the proper hardware, you won't have that, that gauge falling through the hole. Currently using the Scotch locks in order to tap each wire. So I'm taking from the boost gauge the black wire, and I'm going to the AFR gauge harness, and I'm tapping black to black, and then red to red, and then I'm gonna do orange to orange and yellow to white, and we're gonna see if that works. We'll see in just a second though. Turned on the car to see if it would draw power with the AFR gauge, and yeah, it's not, so we gotta figure something out with the wiring. Obviously something isn't working, or the gauge would have lighted up. I'm wondering exactly why my gauge is only illuminating red, and guess what? They have it in the manual right here. So it says, if your gauge is only illuminating red, that means you don't have a proper constant 12-volt connection connected to the yellow one. I figured out the wiring situation. So the gauges now turn all colors, and it's because I had to extend the yellow wire from the back of the boost gauge, which we were showing earlier, to over here. And I'll show the exact location, but this can all be hidden. So I'm gonna put it underneath the center console. That wire is gonna be completely hidden. Make sure to use 18 gauge because that's what the proper gauge is. I used some butt connectors, and then I tapped into a harness down there. I'll put a picture on the left-hand side of the screen showing exactly where I tapped underneath in the footwell. As far as I'm concerned, this is the only place where you can get constant 12-volt power from. So it's a gray and violet wire right there. It's the middle one on the bottom side. So once again, I'm gonna put up the diagram on the screen. That's actually from the Camaro, the 6th gen Camaro forums. Yeah, the rent is Zestiman's here. He's currently got the clap. You can see the gauge now. It changed colors. So before it was only a static red. It wasn't showing anything else. Now I can go ahead and press this and it'll change. So you can cycle through all those LED modes that I was showing earlier. Yeah, there's actually a few modes on here which are really cool. Like it'll flash a couple different colors at the same time, or pulse, kind of like it's doing right now. I'm currently working on tucking all of this, but that's pretty dope. So we got the AFR gauge running, then we'll have the boost gauge like that. So we've got dual gauges for dual b****s. Are you recording me still? I'm doing some wire tucking work. If you guys want to see how I'm running and hiding the wires with like a full in-depth tutorial, I'll link a video on the left-hand corner of the screen, but we're lifting the center console to hide this wire underneath there, and then it'll be 100% hidden. Obviously, I'm not going to show the same thing twice, so if you guys want to see how I'm hiding these wires with taking out the side piece trims, like Devin's side chick, then I will link the video in the left-hand corner of the screen. I'm the side chick. So just like that, everything is 100% hidden. You cannot see a single wire. So yeah, it's pretty saucy. I just need to pick up a clip from AutoZone tomorrow that'll push this in. It's a metal clip, and everything will be perfectly set and ready to go. But that looks pretty awesome. Devin's revving up the ricer over there. You guys won't believe what I just did. So I forgot a container of my OW40 at home in the rush that I packed up this car. So I cannot do an oil change. I'm doing the oil change right now, and I've pulled the drain plug, but I'll tell you guys what, I will never go to a quick oil change place again, because I went to a Valvoline one before when I was in Orlando and I needed a quick oil change, And guess what? They torqued the freaking drain plug bolt to like 500 foot-pound. I had to wrestle to get it out, so never again. Just for reference purpose, this is what I was talking about. So they torqued and stripped the bolt that goes to the drain plug. I mean, it's completely insane. I don't know how they did that. They must have used the incorrect socket size, but I literally had to like yank at that thing to get it off, and it finally came off. Grabbing the oil filter right now, this is the location. So that's your drain plug, and then the oil filter is on this side. Now this should ever only be hand tightened. And as you can see, I'm trying not to spill, so I'm pulling over the drain pan, and we should be able to just twist this counterclockwise and pop in a new one. Man, that oil's hot. Whoa. That oil's really hot, Christ. And there it completely goes. So the oil looks like it's in good condition. Like, I'm not seeing any flake, which is awesome. I mean, you shouldn't see any flake in a headers only Camaro, but the motor's getting built anyways. And now it's time for my new oil filter. So you don't want to use any tools to tighten this. Like I said earlier, all done by hand. So whatever your hand can torque to, I guess. And we should almost be done here. So now that the old oil has been drained out of the car and we have a new oil filter, we can fill the car up with 10 quarts of OW40. That just literally fell out. So these are 5 quarts each. I still got one more bottle to go, and then we're all set and done. There's literally one more thing I want to do before we close out this vlog. That's getting the clip from AutoZone. Come on now. I'm gonna prime the pump and check the oil level before we actually start the car. So you do this by holding the gas. Little metal clip right here from Advanced Auto Parts is gonna make this whole thing sit flush, so we can finally pop it in. That was a BRZ Gino moment. As you guys can see, everything is 100% flush. So we're gonna close out this video of installing the boost gauge. I guess we're gonna have to get the Whipple back on the car next. We can actually put it to use. And if you guys enjoyed this instructional video, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.